In this video, I'll be going over what's new in IBM Copy Services Manager 626. The 626 release EGA'd on June 28, 2019. And in this presentation, I'll be going over a product overview and then followed by a couple things that we added in the 626 release. So first, for those who are not familiar with Copy Services Manager, I'm going to explain what it is. So Copy Services Manager is really your one-stop shop for IBM storage system replication. So it's easy to install, easy to set up, easy to manage, but provides you that single pane of glass so that you can manage primarily your more complex 2-site, 3-site, or even 4-site replication environments. We manage replication. We can install CSM on any of the major platforms: Windows, Linux, AIX, Linux or Z systems. And now we're even pre-installed on the DS8000 HMC to make it even easier for you to deploy. We have disaster recovery and high availability features, practice features, and we do a lot to help you protect your data, including our new dual control support, which came out in the 625 release. So these are the two new enhancements I'll be talking about. One is the dual control enhancement supports, and then the support for the A9000 multi-target session types. So let me get into those right away. All right, so what is our dual control support enhancements? So as I mentioned before, we added in dual control support in our 625 release. That was back in the first quarter of 2019. What does dual control give you? It's the ability to allow make sure that no action or modification that might infect or impact or potentially cause dangerous situations in your environment can be done without the authority of at least 2 users. So someone, say, tries to start a session, it requires another user to approve that start so that before the start actually occurs. Same with modifying the properties, because that could have an impact on, say, your RPO times. Another user has to come in and approve those modifications. But in our 625 release, we displayed the approval, the dual control requests, and an approver would come in. He would be able to see what the general idea of the request was, and then approve it or reject it. Well, for things like modifying properties or adding or removing copy sets or modifying a scheduled task, it becomes a lot more difficult. The approver wants to know exactly what changed. So that's what we're added. So on the dual control request, you can actually click a Show Details button, and that's going to pop up a little dialog that shows you and highlights exactly what changed. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll go do a live demo here. So right here I'm in the CSM admin user. You can see in the top corner that's who's logged in. Here's a particular multi-target MMGM session. I am going to modify the properties. And for this one, let's just change him to, say, 600 for the RPO. And let's change this one to 500. Actually, before I do that, I forgot I have to enable dual control. So I'm going to go into Administration, Enable Dual Control. And now, dual control is not enabled yet. I need to go to the second user. So you'll see in this second user, it's Bob that is logged in. It's a different user. CSM admin was the other one. This one's Bob. And right away, you see Bob got a notification that there was a request out there for him. And he says, CSM admin requested to enable dual control support. So as Bob, I'm going to go ahead and approve it. And now dual control is enabled. So now I'm going to go back. And this time I'm going to go back into my sessions. I'm going to go view modify properties on that session I was looking at. I'm going to change him to 500, like I said, and 600. Then I'm going to say OK. You'll see that it got a little warning. The warning indicates that it was dual controls enabled and somebody has to prove it. So sure enough, let me go over to Bob. There it is. Bob has the approval record. CSM admin requested to modify the properties. Now in 625, that's all that Bob could see. He could see that they asked to modify the properties. Now he could approve or reject it. So Bob would have to go talk to CSM admin and say, well, what did you change? Well, okay, maybe I'm okay with that or not okay with that. He couldn't actually see what changed. However, now Bob can select the dual control request, click on Show Details, and he'll get the little Modify Properties dialog. Now you'll notice that he's not able to actually modify it. If I click in here, I can't do it. But what this gives him is the ability to go through the tabs and see what changed. So now you can see that the recovery point objective, the previous value was 300, and CSM admin changed it to 500. Go to the other tab, same thing, previous value is 300. Now we send it to 600. So as Bob, I may go, you know what? No, we can't have that RPO rise like that. I'm going to go ahead and reject that request. Bob can put in a little information. RPO setting is too high, and then reject the request. All right, so let's go check on another one. So now let's look at, say, this guy, and let's go remove copy sets. So now you have a malicious user. He's out there. He wants to remove the copy sets, killing all the replication, and he's going to say, oh, this C00 guy, he's got something on it. I know it's important. I'm going to delete it. He's going to step through the wizard, say finish, and then you'll notice it didn't complete. There's a dual control request. So Bob gets the notification. He says, wait, oh, there it is. CSM admin's trying to remove a copy set. That's odd. All right, let's go click on Show Details. And there you'll see that Bob can actually see what copy sets that the CSM admin user requested to delete. So he can say, oh, wait a minute, C000. Now you can't. CSM admin can't remove that. That's important to be in the session. Again, I'm going to reject the request. All right, let's go for one more example here. Let's go this time to the scheduled tasks. You'll see I have a number of scheduled tasks out here. Let's go ahead and try this one. Let's modify task. You can see that let's change the name, and maybe we'll change the P package, and then let's change the actual schedule. So instead of hourly at every half hour, let's go do this actually let's do it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. So now CSM admin finishes the modification. It says there's a pending approval. So Bob gets the approval request. There it is. CSM admin asked to change the scheduled task. So Bob, well, what did you want to change it to? Click on Show Details. You'll see that the previous value was flash task, so we can see that he changed the name. You can see that the P package used to be unchecked, and now they can see that it used to be every half hour, and now it's daily, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So maybe Bob says, oh, no, we need it every half hour, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Doesn't meet our SLA requirements. We have to have it every half hour. So I'm going to reject that request. Reject. So hopefully you can see how this addition to our GUI allows you to see what got changed, to allow that approver to understand a little bit better and before they actually approve or reject the request. So we hope you enjoy those enhancements with dual control. All right, so the next feature I want to talk about for our 626 release is our support for A9000, the flash system A9000 multi-target session type. So A9000 recently came out with a multi-target solution, so that's replicating off the source volume with a hyperswap relationship to a semi-local site, so they could swap, have hyperswap capability there. And then from that same source volume, replicate in a global mirror fashion to a remote site. So CSM, we have lots of experience with three-sided, four-sided solutions with DS8000. Well, we pulled in A9000 now, and now for multi-target MMGM session types, you can specify A9000 devices, and we'll support it that way. So let me jump into a demo here as well. All right, so first, let me go back and turn off dual control so we can do this a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and improve that one. And now dual control is disabled. I'm going to go back into my sessions. This is a A9000 session type. You'll see that my copy sets include A9000 devices off of this particular A9000 storage system. Alright, so now I want to show you just how easy it is to start up a A9000 multi-target session. So just like our other multi-target sessions for DS8000, you have the start command, and it allows you to start both legs, so the start H1, H2, H1, H3 command, or you can start the individual legs, so I could choose to start up H1, H2 first, or H1, H3 first. And then later on, when you're ready, you start up the second leg. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and start up both legs. Click yes. And on the hardware now, we're creating the consistency groups on the A9000, setting up the relationships, all the steps that you have to do individually on the Hyperscale Manager or the XCLI. CSM is now taking care of it for you. So we're checking the status relationships, adding the consistency group, setting up the standby relationship, and etc. from on the hardware point of view. And now the session's reached a prepared state, so all the relationships are fully synced, and you can see that via the Hyperscale Manager as well. You'll see there's my consistency group. Everything's operational from multi-site perspective. Hyperswap has auto failover capability, asyncs, RPO okay, and the standby is just in a standby mode. So from CSM, all you had to do was a start command. You didn't have to worry about the various sites, the various relationships, the consistency group, any of that. You just added the copy sets and issued the start. Now the same for the Hyperswap. I can easily say, I'll start first with suspend. So just talk about this briefly. I could choose to suspend any of the legs, both legs, whatever I want. So I can do a suspend H1, H2. That stops the Hyperswap part but keeps the global mirror. Maybe I had maintenance. Well, maybe I want to do some testing. So I can do a failover on H2. So H2 is consistent. I failed over. Now on H2 I can bring up some hosts. I can check my I/O, all while still running main production on H1 and replicating global mirror to H3. Now I finished my tests, start it up, go start H1, H2. Okay, so now we're back to prepared. We restarted everything after practicing on H2. And so now I'm going to show you how to do the Hyperswap, a planned Hyperswap. So normally on a planned Hyperswap with Hyperscale Manager or the XCLI, what you would do is suspend the H1, H3 leg, and then that would allow you to do the switch from H1 to H2. CSM, try to make it a little bit easier for you. You could choose to do that if you want. You can go ahead and suspend H1, H3 like I showed you earlier. However, you can also just issue the Hyperswap command. So this pops up, shows you what it's going to look like, tells you it's going to move production to the H2 volumes. I'm going to say yes. And now CSM under the covers will suspend that H1, H3 leg for you, do that swap to H2, and then in addition, we will automatically start H2, H3 up as well. So you'll see we're in suspended partial, but then as we start things up, you'll then get things back in sync, and now you'll see you're prepared. H2, H1, H2, H3 now, all productions on the H2 site, and all you did was issue the hyperswap command. Everything's protected just as you would with a regular multi-target session on A9000. If you had an unplanned swap, it would, CSM would pick up that swap event and react accordingly as well. So that's our support for A9000 multi-target. Hopefully, if you have Flash System A9000 or A9000R, and you either want to take advantage of multi-target or are already taking advantage of multi-target, hopefully you'll see that CSM support can help you out, or especially if you have a mixed environment with both A9000 and DS8000, or perhaps multiple A9000 systems itself. You can manage all under a single pane of glass. All right, so with that, that's my presentation on what's new in 626. It's only two features, but they're fairly big features. So, and hopefully ones that will help you out in the coming future. So, here's typically my reference material. You can see the support portal, online support matrix, latest downloads, etc. Thank you for using CSM. Thank you for your interest, and have a great day.